You're listening to Health Nuts with Dr. Chris Carr. Making lifestyle changes is hard for many people, and not knowing what to do or how to do it makes the task all the more daunting. Here at Health Nuts, we focus on helping you live a fuller life by discussing everyday health issues and exploring breakthrough solutions on how to overcome them. And now, here's your host, Dr. Chris Carr.
Welcome back to another episode of Health Nuts. I'm your host, Dr. Chris Carr. Today I have an awesome guest and a friend of mine, Dr. Miranda. Know her from way back when, in our old days back in South Carolina, and she has the same degree as I have from back there, and that's a Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Physiology from the University of South Carolina, a Master's of Science degree in Physical Therapy from Hunter College in glorious New York City, and has recently earned a doctoral degree in physical therapy from Arcadia University. She's a certified personal trainer, a certified strength and conditioning specialist, a fitness nutrition coach. She's here to help clients truly master mind-body fitness by focusing on mindset, behavioral modification as a fundamental component of personal development. The essence of any strong, healthy woman is to stay determined, focused, and addicted to improving themselves. So it is awesome to have you on, Laura.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to hearing your message you're going to share today. But I got to point out that I wore the shirt for you today.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
In honor of our national champion women's basketball team.
I heard. And also softball too, no? Didn't they just win?
I don't know, softball. The guys went to the Final Four, but they lost to the Final Four. But the females won, so we will support them in victory.
I'm impressed. And if you're watching this on video, you can see my USC degree over my shoulder.
Go Cox. So for the audience out there, that was a formal intro of you. It's kind of like alphabet soup after your name.
Yeah.
It's like you're missing a couple consonants and vowels, but you've been a busy girl. Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. I took, like you said, exercise science. I kind of knew undergrad that's what the direction I wanted to go after I changed my major halfway through, actually, from business. And I went into PT school. I became a trainer in the year off between undergrad and grad school. And that's kind of where I fell in love with the formal instruction of fitness, which I didn't really know before. Like I torn my ACL way back in the day. And that was my first understanding of like movement in that way. And so I just became a trainer as I was getting my master's and in New York City. And so it was an interesting path because I mean, your job as a physical therapist is to rehab the body, to get them into the most optimal function. And it was so interesting to me that like 3/4 of my class never worked out a day in their life. Right? So I'm in the gym like a nut, learning, pretending like I was like 2 years as a trainer, but I'm pretending I'm this like, awesome fitness, all-knowing fitness person. But it was really a crash course in just like helping people get better and using the tools as a physical therapist to help as much as possible. So I kind of just did both in the clinic, in a sports orthopedic clinic in Manhattan for years. And at the same time, I had a fitness business, which I started one of the first like outdoor boot camps in Central Park, actually, like
awesome.
10 years, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just sort of been marrying the two and become like a really obsessed with the physical side of getting people well, like above and beyond, like 30 more push-ups, like as a young trainer, that's what I thought it was all about. And unfortunately, so many trainers still think that's what it's all about, like just the healthy eating and the workouts. And of course, keeping them healthy and like giving them workouts that are going to not injure them so I don't have to treat them. Mm-hmm. But as I sort of progress and get older and more experienced and more educated, I guess, or like just obsessed with becoming more educated, I learned the whole other side of it, like the human psychological like aspect of change and what motivates people to actually do it and to not. And that's because it's a whole emotional side. So I would have to say the last few years of my career is like based on that for my in-person clients in New York. And I have then taken that as a business model and now help other trainers do it. It's called Pursuit. I help other trainers sort of deal with this like mind, body, soul, mind, body, fitness aspect of wellness.
Yeah, I think mindset, is really important. It's such a huge part, especially with exercise and nutrition, is that, people don't want to do it, and they don't want to take the time into it, and they have all these internal conversations on why they shouldn't do it. And for you to be able to dig down into the mindset issue, it's definitely outside the box, because you're right. Personal training typically is, here's your meal plan, here's your workout, and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, that's like the bare minimum of a trainer. Like every trainer is supposed to be able to, or even rehab professional, your practice, my practice, you're supposed to be able to help them do more in person than they could do before. That's a given. But the rest of it, the real success for that end user, for the the customer or the patient is, are they going to then go make those changes in the rest of the 23 hours of the day? Like when they're by themselves, when the going gets rough, when they're stressed out, that's the real magic. And that's what I pride myself in.
Yeah. What can you, how do you train someone when they're out with, family and friends, and it's, they're in Times Square doing their thing on a Friday night, to not, tear it up till 6 a.m. and make a good decision. And,
right.
It's a different type of way to go about health, but a lot of folks, especially in the industries we're in, they don't focus on it.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So we're going to get into the kind of the hot topic, which is going to be kind of the outside interval training, the outside pursuit that we're going to touch on. Before I do that, I always make the guest start off with an affirmation or a quote, words of wisdom. What do you got?
It's kind of the one you read. It was probably on my site because it's everywhere. It's stay determined, focused, and addicted to improving yourself. Now, do you want me to explain that?
I would love to.
It's an evolution. So I have these like core values, especially for the Pursuit program. This is part of how I weave in the mental motivation side of it, the mindset side of wellness. It's one of the core values because you have to be like your own student of yourself. Like you're your own best experiment, right? Because you only have one body, one life. This is it. So you should be on this constant quest to find, like if you're the weakest at, when you're out to dinner and it's 7 o'clock at night, and you're prone to making all these bad decisions, 7 o'clock, I mean, we're so old, right? 7 o'clock, oh my God, on a work night, a school night.
Well, you get up earlier than I am.
4:25.
Yeah, you're out there, you're out there earlier. I'm up because of the baby. You're up there because you're training and working.
I don't know what's worse, but so 7 p.m. feels like it's late. But no, when you have customers and clients and patients that are like, working full time, 7 is after work. So what was the point of that? To try to make the right decisions and be a student of what is the one thing that's holding you back. Like what's that one obstacle? Because if you keep running from it and you don't address it, it's going to keep chasing after you. Right. So, all the best squat technique and all the best like push up interval training workout in the whole freaking world ain't going to help you if you don't address those like shortcomings that you have. And it's kind of like therapy, but it's this one life. We have this one chance.
Yeah. We all have these imperfections that we have to deal with. And some run from the hills from their imperfections, and others kind of brace them and deal with it. But that's where change comes into play.
It's true. And it's different than, like, I just want to make the distinction, like stay determined, focused, and addicted to improving yourself is different than be like obsessed with perfection. Right. And obsessed with like all the wrong things that you do, and working with women mostly for most of my career. We have this thing where we're like really hard on ourselves, and I know everybody is, but women have this like critical voice that's there. It's very strong because we're attacked for the way we look, the way if we don't say the right things, and sometimes it's just in our heads. But it's a different side of being addicted to improving yourself, and just looking for that next step that's going to be better than it was before.
Yeah, this negative self-talk, which guys have it as well, but I think especially females, they really, you ladies really get inundated with just a lot of stuff from either press, paper, things maybe you were brought up the way we were brought up of ways we should be. It ends up a lot of times it's all BS.
It's a story. It's a story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
And it can keep you down. I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. You wake up every day like, oh my God, like, how am I going to do this? I struggle with it. Like, who's going to listen to me? Like, what the hell? And I can't push this thing forward, but it's about like constantly bringing yourself back down and staying like focused on addicted to your core values and your core purpose and your why, I guess, to sum it up.
Yeah. I think one of the takeaways for the audience out there is the first takeaway is, what are your core values? And it can take a long time to really figure out, one, who you are and kind of the hero within, and acting like the hero within, or even acting as if you've been putting up a facade for somebody else. And what is your core value is the first takeaway that she shared. So that's a writer downer. The body of this, kind of the body of today, we're going to talk about, which is really, really, I'm looking forward to hearing about, is this Pursuit program you've got going on. To the layperson, they're not going to really know what it is, but for those who think you have to be married to a gym membership or to a gym to work out, I think you're going to squash that right now.
Yeah, blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
So Pursuit is the name of this workout method that I basically invented, or I perfected. It's my class in New York City, but it's also this like licensed business model that I now give to trainers that run it all across the world actually right now. But so what it is like, what's a typical workout outdoors? Let's go there first, like boot camp in the park, right? I myself used to do it. You know, at best you're lugging out equipment, you're out there and you kind of stand in one spot and you do the workout. As far as I'm concerned, you might as well still be inside. Because that is, for most consumers, that's where we think our options are the treadmill, the elliptical for cardio, and the weights, right? And if you have any history of training, if you played a sport or something, you kind of know what to do. Mm-hmm. If not, you're taking a class and you're in like a studio that's like 800 by whatever.
Yeah.
Well, at least in New York, it is that small.
Yeah. You got 6 inches of space for your spin buddy.
Exactly. So if you don't like that, or if that doesn't like resonate with you because you spend all day in a tiny office, you commute in a small car or a subway, and you live in a, I don't know what size house you live in, or an apartment, you're in a small space all day. So then to go move our bodies, I think the gym is like an invention to like undo what we do to ourselves or don't do to ourselves all day long. Enter Pursuit.
Enter.
So ultimately, let me tell you, it's basically we take the workout out through the park and through the streets of the town or the city using just the equipment that you come upon. So you have to use this like reinvention or this adaptation or innovation of your structures around. So like a park bench becomes, a box you can jump on, like a box that would be in a gym, a fence becomes a thing for pull-ups, or a staircase that goes up to a building. And, in City Hall, you're up there and you're sprinting up and down doing all this crazy stuff. So it's really just sort of this back to basics approach that is so basic, I feel, I think it's just revolutionary. And I'll tell you why, Chris Carr, Dr. Carr.
Share it with me.
Can I tell the audience what we used to call you in college?
I don't know. I have multiple nicknames, and I don't know which one. I don't know if anything to say.
I used to call you C squared.
Actually, it's kind of stuck with me.
Do you remember that?
I did.
Okay, Chris. Dr. Carr for now. The way that it started was that I was running my class in the park and we got kicked out. The park cops came and I was running a really successful workout in a park. We got booted. So I was like, no, you needed a permit. Exactly. So they freaked out, which most parks have in most cities. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I live in Lower Manhattan. If anyone knows what that is, there's like infrastructure everywhere. You don't see it initially, but once you start to see the potential of like a curb, a crosswalk that looks like an agility ladder, like, lines painted on the bike path can be like, it's something for, lateral movement or jumps or whatever. And it turned out that my clients they got more in shape, they had more fun, and they said to me, like, all I would think to do outside is run. And I thought that was my only option. I never thought to do these things like outside as a workout, and it sort of opened up this huge thing for many people.
Yeah, and you just kind of turned it on for me as well. 'Cause there's so many parks in the area. So you'll run, you'll be out there, and you'll be just like running on the trails, and that it's brilliant because there's park benches. You do push-ups on them, do lunges on them. Yeah, it is awesome.
It's amazing. Do you remember when we were younger? I don't see them anymore. At least I don't see them in New York. Like those like fit stations. They would have like a bar and like a little picture of what to do on it.
Instructions like the stick figure.
Yeah.
What to do.
Does that exist anymore?
You know what? In the town down the street, actually my hometown, they still have it.
They do.
They do. They have like 10 stations there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but that's because the town is so far back in the times. They haven't kind of lost all that stuff yet because it's so old. They haven't revamped it. But that is like even like staircases going up, up there. So give the audience some different things they'd come across, what they could do with it.
So I'll use a typical town because New York is like unique in that way, I guess, that everything's so condensed. But so honestly, like, okay, so you have your park. Let's just take a typical, like any city USA park. There's the baseball fields, the parking lot, the soccer fields, and then you exit and there's probably a road that leads to it.
Right.
What the job of a pursuit coach is, or for any client who's trying to do this, any person that's trying to do this workout, you got to look at what you have and see what type of huge, large scale circuit you can do with that in an interval fashion. So the curb leading in, you can like do these like jumping step ups on it. You jog over, you hit the next hit stop, or like high intensity interval training hit stop that I call.
I like it.
And you got the bleachers. So you sprint up and down the bleachers, you head out into the grass, and you've got like broad jumps straight across, which would be like moving explosive jumps. And then you run to that next station depending on how far away it is, out to the soccer field for anything that you can possibly come up with, because you have like a line on the ground, you have, the bleachers again, you have the goalpost, all these things you have to, anything that you can do in a gym, you can do outdoors. But my hashtag is, do you see the potential? So if any of your listeners are like on social right now, check it out, because mostly on Instagram, because I have a video, like when you see a line on the ground, you see the potential. I'll do like 40 exercises in a row
on it.
That just using that line, like agility, like lateral motion, stuff we never really do, especially in a gym, because you're just so confined to that one little space.
So the client, the patient, the listener gets to the park. How long? So each station, what would you say for a time frame should they stick at each station? So they say they come across the park bench, they see the lines, they see the goalposts where they can do toe taps. What do you think? 30 seconds a rep? It always
counts. Yeah, it always depends on the skill level of the person, all that. But a good start is a 30-second interval. Mm-hmm. And the way that I design them is, especially when you're outside, you want to combine as many like energy systems as possible. So if you can hit the anaerobic by the strength, like the 3 A's, I call it, of pursuit. So the anaerobic, so you're doing like as many reps to close to failure in like 30 seconds. Hopefully it's anaerobic. You have to we'll talk about that in a second. 30 seconds. And then the A is the aerobic. So you go take off a loop to the next station. So your heart rate stays elevated. You're not standing around. It's sort of like an active recovery.
Right.
And then the third A is skill attainment. So you'll do something where it almost feels like play. You're learning a skill like a pike handstand, or a plank for like a really beginner, or a hanging, any sort of hanging like L sit or something. These are just like 3 examples. There's all obviously progressions and regressions all the way up and down the scale, but I put that one in there because again, it keeps them moving, and it's, shoulder stability, core stability, teaching them. But when you take adults and you bring this essence of movement back to just this baseline thing where like when we were kids and you're climbing across the monkey bars, you're not thinking about like, what's my shoulder doing? Like, am I burning 500 calories? Like, it takes you back to this motor learning that's play. Ultimately, it's like play. And the outcome is not important. We're not focused on the outcome. We're focused on the process.
Right.
So that's just like a little example, and people are not used to that. It's like one thing or the other. Doing squats with dumbbells, or I'm running, or I'm on the treadmill. But this method encompasses all 3.
It does. And it makes it fun because you're not doing the same thing every time. And it might be doing different exercises, but you're still doing variations of the same workout.
Yes.
Each time you go work out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. So time frames. So we're looking. So the average, 30 seconds per rep or 30 seconds per burst, if you will. Cool down, same thing, or just how would the person know when they're ready to do the next burst?
What was the thing you said? 30 second per burst?
It's 30 seconds per burst. Then rest period, what would you say for that?
0, little to none.
Little to
No,
none.
I mean, it all depends on what you, so here's the idea. Your cardio component, that second movement, where you take off running after you basically expend your glycogen stores, for those listeners who know, but like your anaerobic, once you're done. You only have a certain amount of that. Then to flush it out, you start at a really slow level and work it back up. So like the I call it cardio conditioning is up to, again, the hardest level that you can manage. And once you're recovering, so that's your recovery basically. But once you like build back up, it's like 10, 15, 20 seconds, then you can start pushing ahead again at an intensity that you can manage. That's that aerobic level. It's a level that you can do for upwards of like a minute 30 seconds. Like that's the science of it, but it's really pretty straightforward. Like
for it.
Right? If it's too hard, you wouldn't be able to do it, and then it turns back into anaerobic. You wouldn't be able to do it for that long. But the ultimate outcome is like, so to answer your question, rest, I mean, minimal.
Right.
But so the ultimate outcome is the heart rate stays elevated the entire time. Every second is being used. And you can condense, if you're doing this workout by yourself, I mean, you can condense an hour-long, 45-minute arduous, like drudged, that's not even a word, a horrible workout into like a 30-minute, a 30-minute hardcore thing, then get it done. And it's fun.
So, it's short, sweet, and it's always different.
Exactly.
Love it. So somebody who's trying to get involved or get integrated into this, what do they do?
Well, look for a pursuit location near you. We're in like about 13 locations around the US and London, Australia, soon to be Malaysia.
Wow.
But yeah. So right now, I mean, I'm honestly, the focus is getting trainers to run these classes so that we can get it out to the masses. But truly my push is to create a consumer product that's digestible for everybody, that you can just like download and just get going. But right now, all the stuff all over my social media is at Dr. Laura Miranda. I put out daily workouts, blog posts, videos that are easily follow along. And because of my background, I like to go into the science-y stuff of it. Like the real deal, not just like do 400 until you puke,
And that's one of the reasons why I reached out to you, because I was, as you know, it's so easy to lose contact with all your friends. And obviously that happened, but I've been following you from a distance for so long, and your stuff is always unique. And that's why I always like to follow you. So even if for that listener, it's in Boise, Idaho, and they're in that pursuit out there,
right?
Follow her if you're looking for workouts to do. It's a great resource, and it's something I've been following for years and years.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man, lady, you are welcome. So next part, I want to touch on health nuggets. I need you to give us 3 health nuggets that the audience can take away with them.
3 health nuggets. Okay. I mean, this kind of goes. As I click back over to my notes, this kind of goes along with like the whole theme of what we've been sort of saying. But number 1, keep it simple. I think for someone even like myself, who's in this, who teaches it every day, who has studied it forever, like I still get overwhelmed with the big picture and black or white thinking. So much of we like play in those two lanes that it destroys our progress. Like, would 20 minutes be better than your hour that you can't manage to get in today? Yeah, but then you don't do it. So 0. So you got 0. So right. It's ridiculous. So the idea is to keep it simple and just get started. Start with the basics, then work on then get fancy. It doesn't matter the freaking, metabolic load and the drop set and all the technical stuff with your workout. Do exactly what we said. Choose 4 exercises, 30 seconds each, do as many reps as you can, run a lap around the block in between. I mean, you're a rock star.
You're taking action. Everybody has good intentions, but sometimes no action.
Exactly. Which is why I was just actually in Vegas, and I also stream workouts on this new platform called Forte. And my workout time is 20 minutes so I stream these live group workouts in this fashion, this like pursuit fashion. It's all body weight. It's hardcore, and it's 20 minutes because sometimes that's not for nothing. You can get more of a workout because it's nonstop than that stand around, in between sets and getting it done. So keeping it simple. That was my first one.
Number 1. What else you got?
Number 2, using your bad days as feedback or your missteps as feedback. The word is really failure, but I don't, a lot of people are stuck on that word. They have a lot of bad negative history with it. But when it comes to this like constant growth, this like linear, hopefully trajectory of improvement over time, in everything. And I'm talking about everything now, like fitness, emotional stability, stress reactions, eating. When you have, and these are another one of my core values of pursuit is look at your day, previous day, or even at night when you're about to put your head on the pillow and say like, what happened and why? What went right? What went wrong? Because it's really hard to change something unless you know it's actually happening. So because most of us are freaking creatures of habit. So we are making the same choices and same mistakes like over and over, usually, until we interject.
Yeah, you're right. Do the same thing, wake up at the same time, go to bed at the same time, eat the same thing for lunch, do the same workout.
Right. The boss yells at you, you have a really stressful week. What happens? All your like basics fall down by the wayside. Food, workouts, sleep. Yeah. So you drink, so if you can catch those things sooner, the better.
Yeah. And that catching that habit.
Exactly. So you have to ask yourself, like, so many people just shy away. Like, I know I'm so bad, or I can't get this. I can't. And they're like, that they pull down on themselves. And it's just, look at the facts, man. It's just facts without judgment. And once you can do that, and I always recommend putting it on paper because then you really get to see, like, it's like, you can't run away from that. Like week after week, same thing's happening, so using your bad days as failure.
Get out of your own way.
Get out of your own way.
Number 3.
Number 3, this is I guess another one, it's another core value too. It's being fearless in pursuit of doing what scares you the most. And again, we all know what we're supposed to do. It's not a freaking mystery. Like, you're not supposed to eat the fast food when you're traveling. You're supposed to work out like X amount of days. You're not supposed to sit at your desk for like 6 hours in a row because you have back pain. And we know. So often you have to look at what's holding you back. What's that fear there? Where is that coming from? It's about getting real with what's going on. And usually if it scares you the most, it's the thing that you need to go directly after. Because, people try to deal with the effects of the behaviors they're not doing right, or they're not doing as well as they could. They try to deal with the effects of weight gain. So they're like, I have to lose the fat. They try to deal with, I eat out too much, so I have to, fix that. I have to eat better. But there's like stuff behind that that's causing you to do those things.
Why are you doing it?
And to both piggyback off the last thing, and it comes into this one as well. It's like, what that thing is, but it's about creating a simple plan and going directly after it. And there's something about that fear thing is like, it holds us back, relationships and work and in our bodies. So I think that's my last nugget.
Love it. Best advice you ever got. What was it?
Shit. Best advice I ever got. Oh,
Something I
I'll
told you in
say,
college.
what'd you say?
Was it something I told you in college? Probably.
Probably something having to do with alcohol. No, no, it was, you can, you can be anything you want. And, I think that's a given for a lot of people from like really supportive family structure. And for me, I didn't have that. So, when I first like heard it, I was in high school, and I was like about to like break down, like things were really bad, like at home, and my self-esteem and my ability, my ability to think that I could do anything I wanted, become anything I wanted, play the next game really well. Like my inner voice and all that stuff was like heavy coming down on me. And my coach like took me aside, and she said, you can do it. You can be anything you want. Do not let this, like, it gets better, basically. Like, do not let this current family situation affect you. And as a wellness professional, like going back into it now, I realize that that advice, that piece of advice, both helped me in my career and my own self, like everything. But it's what I use also with my clients and the world is believing in them, because the power that one person has that just like looks you in the eye and tells you like, you can do it, man. Like, I believe in you. You got to believe in you. And then instilling that belief in other people. So that's the biggest thing. And it seems very simple, but it was a major turning point in my life.
Love it. No, I'd say you succeeded in not stopping with all the stuff you've done. Just even out of college, good God. So I'd say motivation has didn't miss you at all.
Thanks, man.
So what makes you a health nut?
Well,
Health nut. Probably say what doesn't make you a health nut, because everything you do got the guns.
What do you mean specifically? Like,
so what do you do from day to day that makes you, why don't you just why do you wake up every day and work out? Why don't you just do the fast food? Why don't you just sit on your tail? What makes you go the opposite direction where most of the United States is going?
Oh God, great question. I have to say it's always been in there. Like, I've like always have the energy to like move around and seek out like more ways to have an outlet for that. But I think it's connecting. Okay, when you're younger, I just like I wanted to look good. That's the bottom line. I'm going to relate this to the rest of the world. Like, I definitely just wanted to look good. I was like running, like a maniac working out in college, since high school, whatever. Then I started to realize that because I push so hard in every like category of my life, if I don't have this piece of it on track, everything else falls away.
Right.
Because I can make an excuse every single day. I get up at 4:30, like that I don't have time. I'm too tired. Like, when I'm doing like 74 different things in the day. But in order for me to be my best self, to help other people be theirs, I have to both walk the walk, talk the talk, and be in there, because it keeps my brain sharp. I would not be like as productive if I didn't eat the right way and train a lot. And don't get me wrong, I definitely fall off. I'm not superhuman. I'm not eating kale and like, grilled fish every day, let's be honest. But I have these habits in place that I quickly come and check myself if I fall off too far. But the thing is, like, most people don't realize that it's so simple. When you keep the variables relatively the same, you quickly know when one thing is off, where it's coming from.
Right.
But so many people are like the yo-yo diet and the yo-yo exercise and the sleep and the alcohol and the whatever, that you kind of like think there's no hope. But it is actually pretty simple. And if you want to be a high producer in life, you have to train and feed yourself appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, so staying congruent, which is huge, congruent and consistent. Nothing will irk me more than seeing somebody in the wellness field and they are, by faults of their own, if they don't have an underlying endocrine system failure, that they are just completely a hot mess.
Exactly.
I would never listen to what an ounce what a person's going to say, because they're not congruent in their own lifestyle.
Exactly. And it comes out somewhere, like it bleeds out,
You'll see it.
Are you the same person on your Instagram as you are in real life? Like, are you that person? Like, that's how I got that's another piece of advice, but be that consistent person and magic will happen.
Keep it simple, stay congruent. I loved your message.
Thanks, man.
So last but not least, somebody's trying to find you. How they do it?
All right. So stronghealthywoman.com, woman, singular, is my website. Both in my in-person training in New York and my blog that houses like all the content that I usually put up on social. And for like a trainer side, the business side, the wellness coach, it's drlauramiranda.com.
Awesome.
And my social media, I think I mentioned earlier, is basically at Dr. Laura Miranda across all platforms.
Yeah, if you're looking for quality content that's not just one, it's qualified content. Sometimes people put content out there they have no qualifications.
Right.
So it's qualified content and it's good quality as well. And so give her a follow, check her out. She's awesome. Dr. Laura, I never thought I'd say Dr. Laura Miranda, but here we are.
Dr. C squared. Sorry, couldn't resist.
It's awesome having you on.
Thanks for having me. And I have an ebook if I can offer that either in the notes or now.
Yeah, we'll do it in both.
Okay. So for like all this stuff, this mindset stuff, I wrote a book called 43 Simple Strategies to Getting and Staying Motivated. And you can text the word 43 strategies to 44222. Again, the number is 44222. You could text the words for one word, 43 strategies. Or we can give a link. We'll do a link also.
You got it. And so 44222, 43 strategies. And
I'll send it to you.
As soon as I get off here, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
So
man.
Thanks again. I look forward to having you. And to the audience, hope you're enjoying this content. Dr. Jack Wolfson, the paleo cardiologist, is on next week. So check us out. Talk to you soon. Bye.
So, you've heard from the experts yourself this episode and have gotten some golden nuggets on health. There is so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to pghcw.com. Again, that's pghcw.com and sign up for our newsletter where you'll receive free info on how to get and stay healthy. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Health Nuts with Dr. Chris Carr. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and please leave a review.